We are not talking about fuel for vehicles.
We combined it though.
No, I'm just saying,
Okay, you are trying to separate it.
Yeah, we are not talking about fuel for vehicles, machines, and what have you. But the story, the import is to talk about LPG. And sometimes when we say we are educated illiterates, people don't understand. In the early 90s, a new concept by the Bretton Woods institutions was to the effect that charcoal and wood as a source of energy should be discarded. They promoted this by giving us freebies, giving us liquefied petroleum. Every person that wanted it had it. Cylinders were provided, burners were provided, so that we can use. It got to a time that there was even laws preventing us from using wood and charcoal as a source of energy. Majority of us grew up using charcoal to do all manner of things. Cutting wood and using the wood to do food, to do everything. Then suddenly, there was a new craze for liquefied petroleum. Then we saw the fuel stations starting to spring up. But little did it occur to us that some business person somewhere have targeted that first they will do loss leading. Loss leading means putting things for free, knowing very well that in future you will pay supersonic prices for it. As we advance and we are now used to LPG, you don't have charcoal pot in your house.
I have.
We are confronted with reality that the LPG is not available. But for the wisdom and the magnificent thought of President Atamils to put up the Atuabo gas plant, 100% of our LPG used to be imported. Today, we import 60% because the Atuabo power plant is able to produce only 40%. Cleverly, any government willing for the progress of this nation and taking us away from using charcoal and other, what I call smoke energy, would have increased the stock of gas plants. 40% done by Atamils John Mama. We are sitting here today. We don't have any addition, yet we are flaring fuel or flaring gas. We have also told people that they should not cut wood. But we are incarcerating people for conveying charcoal.
Yeah.
All that we could do environmentally was to encourage people to plant their own trees and harvest it for their use. Every environment, every community, you adapt to your local peculiarities. You cannot go to Sankana and tell people to engage in LPG usage. You can encourage them to plant at their backyards. Everybody have a small forest. Plant your trees, make your charcoal from it, cut your wood, and use it.
But we are supposed to prevent that because of pollution.
What?
Air pollution.
Which one is air pollution?
Yeah.
If you continue to plant trees, whatever is used, even the smoke, will now also be used and converted into rain. We are simply lazy in thinking. So all of us subscribe to LPG today. The LPG that used to be distributed free of charge. When we're in school, they will come, they give you a small stove and add you free LPG. Today, we are buying it at a cutthroat price. The thing used to be 84 Ghana cedis. That is even in 2020.
It was 74.
Do you understand? Before then, in 2016, it was far less, about 50. Today, we are buying it in excess of 280. At the time of the story, it was 230. Go to the market, it's 280.
Almost 300 cedis.
You understand? How many people? That's just for LPG. So buy it and come and sit the LPG down. The LPG cannot get up and translate itself into Akpele for you. And so the cost of living is magnified. Because, look, we have refused to think, and we are allowing Bretton Woods institutions and their, neophytes to be thinking for us. Move to this direction. And we are moving them. We have experts telling us why we should not engage in what we are doing. See, who doesn't know? And, Kwesi, I beg you. This one day, I beg you. Gold for oil has not and will not be a panacea to the depreciation of your currency. When you take your gold, do you go and exchange directly with oil? You go and change it with dollars and use the dollars to go and buy your oil. Please stop confusing yourselves. You don't take ounce of gold and go and buy liters of, what do we call it? Tons of oil. You take it and it's converted into dollars. In fact, it is rated in dollars before it can be exchanged. So it's still dollar that you are carrying. By the way, you go into the market and mobilize the gold. So you go and buy the gold. And now come and use it use the dollar as a benchmark to go and do trading. How is that a solution to the depreciation of your currency?
Well, that's what
the depreciation of your currency can be contained in multiple ways, including one, your reduction of your imports. Because that brings in imported inflation. So what you do is that, what can you do to stop the over-importation? We import everything, including second-hand bracelets. We import everything, including second-hand panties, second-hand fridges, everything second-hand, except toilet paper that you don't import second-hand. And so when you are so voluptuous with your consumption of second-hand goods and everything you import into your country, you do not expect that your currency can be any strong. The second thing for all of us you look at is that, look, Kwame Nkrumah and the early leaders of Africa started talking about a continental currency. If in the 50s, 60s, they were talking about continental currency, in 1993, the Europeans met in Maastricht and decided that they would bring about the European currency, today the euro. The euro has become the second strongest currency in the world. Would you imagine that if the African currency had sprung up in the 1950s, what the position of the African currency would be? What I call the Afri-power. So all of us, instead of playing lip services, should be encouraging people like Akufo-Addo, who is president of the republic, the vice president, that look, let's factor the issue of a continental currency to have the stability of an African currency away from the dollar, the euro, and the pound, and now the yen. We are simply lazy. And where I sit, I feel very passionate about this. Because look, we did not go to study the economics just to be following the textbook theories. You study the economics in order to come and apply to our local peculiarities. We are failing to do so.
But it's not a one-man decision to do that, right?
Whose decision is it to stop importation? See, I have said that 1 year after becoming president, we will stop the importation of rice.